Hello, Tom Votava here, and this is the kill screen for NES Donkey Kong. If you are a fan of the arcade game, or the movie The King of Kong, you're probably familiar with this. Just in case you're not, though, a kill screen is when you get so far in the game that you cause a glitch in the bonus timer that makes the game unplayable. Normally the bonus timer is set to 5,000 or 8,000 or something high enough to clear the level. It starts at 400 here. As you can see, that's not enough time to do much of anything. So just how high do you have to get in order to reach the kill screen? Well, it's a tall order. As you saw in my little intro, you have to be able to clear 132 levels, with the kill screen being on level 133. There are 3 screens on each level. There's the barrel stage, the elevator stage, and the Rivet Stage. So, to reach the kill screen, you must complete 132 of each of these 3 screens, for a total of 396 screens. As far as I'm aware, this is the first and only time that anyone has ever reached the kill screen on the NES version of Donkey Kong. The arcade kill screen has been reached several times by many talented gamers. Not sure how this compares, but I like this version. Anyway, what follows here are some tips I can give you on how to reach the kill screen in case you're interested in trying for yourself. So let's start with the barrel stage. This is actually the easiest of the 3 levels to complete, at least when trying to play the game quickly. While the level can have some challenge if you go for the hammers, if you just try to climb to the top as fast as possible, you rarely run into any problems. What makes the barrel stage so easy is the ability to hide at the top of any ladder. As long as you stay in this position, the barrels will never drop down on top of you. This allows you to sit as long as you like, waiting for just the right opening that you're comfortable with when you try to climb higher. The only things to watch out for on the barrel stage are the wild barrels. There are 2 types of wild barrels. There's the straight-down barrel that goes straight from Donkey Kong's hands to the oil barrel, and then there's this zigzag barrel. You cannot safely stay at the top of this particular ladder when a zigzag barrel comes through. At the exact moment that you climb down a ladder to avoid the zigzag barrel, it's possible for a normal barrel to drop down the ladder and hit you. This is normally not much of an issue, but you only have 4 lives for the entire game. It may be worth your while to play it conservative by waiting for the zigzag barrel to go by, and then climbing the ladder. Case in point, here is the one time in my run that I lost a life, right in that same spot. I didn't necessarily get attacked by the wild barrel while on the ladder, but you get the idea. I was in a hurry. I was trying to jump to the right, and the controller slipped, and I ended up jumping straight up. Other than that one thing, that's really it for the barrel stage. The only other thing I'll show you here is a highlight where I had a little bit of screen breakup due to sprite overload. These are always really cool. Thankfully, this kind of phenomenon is completely harmless. If you're worried about having a serious world record attempt or a kill screen attempt get ruined by image breakup and just having the game crash, don't worry, it won't. On to the elevator stage. This is easily the shortest level of the three, however it's also probably the most dangerous. I'll start with the easy part, which is getting past this fireball as you're crossing the elevators. Using the pattern you see here, the fireball will not hit you, no matter how quickly it decides to climb the ladder. However, if the fireball chooses to climb the right-hand ladder immediately as the stage begins, it may look like a close call. Therefore, it's very important that you stay focused on the elevator you're about to jump onto and not look at the fireball. Anyway, that's the easy part. What really makes the elevator stage tough are the bouncing springs that try to block you from climbing the final ladder. The problem is that each spring can appear randomly in one of three possible locations. They can either appear on the far left side of the screen, touching Donkey Kong's foot, or somewhere in between those two spots. The key is whether the spring is touching Donkey Kong's foot. If a spring starts out touching Donkey Kong's foot and you attempt to climb the ladder past that spring, you will die. So what you need to be able to do is to watch the left side of the screen to see where the next spring appears as you attempt to climb the ladder. If the spring is not touching Donkey Kong's foot, go right ahead and climb the ladder. But if the spring is touching Donkey Kong's foot, you have to make a split-second decision to turn back in order to survive. This is a relatively easy maneuver once you get the hang of it. However, the challenge is keeping your focus when you play on the higher levels. It takes at least 5.5 hours to reach the kill screen in this game. If you play for points and go for the hammers in the barrel stages, then you're looking at 7.5 hours. It's very difficult to maintain the split-second precision that you need for this ladder for such a long period of time. On several of my kill screen attempts, I've lost all 4 of my men on just this one spot. That's why one of the things I'm the most proud of with this run is the fact that I never died here for a change. On to the Rivet Stage. This is by far and away the most random part of the game. No one pattern will get you through this stage every single time. However, there are a bunch of small tactics that you can employ in certain situations. The first and most obvious trick is hammering. Whenever you kill a fireball, the fireball will regenerate on the side of the screen opposite the one that Mario is standing on. So for example here, I was able to send a fireball to the left side of the screen by standing on the right half of the screen. Obviously, this trick is the most useful when you've cleared all of the rivets from one side of the screen, so that you can trap the fireballs on that side. It's not always possible, but it is ideal to clear one side of the screen quickly. You can either clear one rivet at a time as you climb up, or sometimes you'll have luck skipping the second rivet and clearing as many rivets as possible near the top. This allows you to put a hammer to good use, potentially trapping some fireballs on the left side of the screen. When you hammer a fireball, it can appear on any floor except the very top one. This means that in order to successfully trap a fireball, you have to take out at least the bottom 3 rivets. Sometimes you'll have bad luck and the fireballs will reappear on the bottom level and not even get trapped, but at least you can improve your odds. Climbing to the top first is not always a good idea. Here I tried to do it and ended up trapping a fireball on the left side too soon. This left me with no safe way of getting down to the hammer. Sometimes the enemies will come after you right at the beginning of the level, making it rather difficult to clear the left side. When this happens, a good defensive move is to use the left-hand hammer to send the enemies off to the right. Once you do this, you can usually give yourself enough of an opening to continue clearing the left side. Occasionally, you will catch a break and the fireballs will bunch up. When this happens, don't hesitate to take advantage. There's no wrong way to clear the level. Just get all the rivets in any way you can. As long as they remain bunched up, you can be very aggressive. It's when they're spread out that you have to watch out for yourself. Fireballs have random movement. However, you can manipulate them in one way. If you stand next to a ladder long enough, a fireball will eventually try to climb it. This move can be just as effective as trapping them with a hammer. Here's another example. These fireballs are stuck at the top of the screen, blocking the upper rivets. However, by standing on the side of the screen, I can make them climb down. The fireballs don't always cooperate, even when you do this trick. They tend to climb up and down the same ladder over and over. However, if you're patient, you can eventually get them to do what you want. You can also manipulate the fireballs by keeping them away from ladders. This ladder that I'm climbing up and down is in between the two ladders that they have to work with. If I stay close to that ladder, they will not be able to climb up and get me. Clearing the last rivet can be a challenge, especially if it's the one in the lower right corner. The fireballs tend to guard that rivet by standing on top of it without moving. One effective way to get them to move is to use the ladder trick that I described earlier. Getting that fireball to climb one of the side ladders tends to be more effective than making them climb up the middle. With enough room in the middle, you can also lure them to the left side of the screen, or perhaps the bottom, to get the opening you need. If you leave one of the top rivets for last, you can do something similar. If there's a fireball at the top of the screen, lure it away, wait for it to come down the ladder, then make a mad dash to the rivets. If the fireballs get you cornered, sometimes your best option is just to wait it out. Here there's a fireball on every platform, and there's no really safe way to get by. However, if you wait patiently enough, eventually you'll be able to see the two fireballs at the top move up the ladder at the same time. Only at that moment is it truly safe to jump across and go for the hammer. Fortunately, scenarios like this don't happen too often, but it's crucial to your survival to keep a patient mind when they happen. Okay, this concludes my set of tips for how I play NES Donkey Kong. What you see here is level 132, the last actual level that you have to play to reach the kill screen. I figured this would be a good way to tie everything together, while at the same time showing what it's like to reach the kill screen. Even with 2 men in reserve, I was extremely nervous going into this final level. Too many of my Donkey Kong attempts have gone sour late in the game for me to rest easy, even now. I mentioned earlier how difficult climbing this final ladder is late in the game. Well, that difficulty only multiplies when your heart is racing. Here I was so nervous that I had to work up the guts to even try to climb the ladder. I kept on backing out. Man, that felt good when I made it, though. So, true story, this is not the first time I've reached level 132. Back in August of 2010, I got to this exact screen, one screen away from the kill screen, that is, and I didn't make it. I had gotten here on my last life, and I was extremely unfortunate to get cornered by the fireballs, and I got killed. It was an extremely devastating moment for me. I had scored 3.3 million points because I had been using the hammers on every barrel stage, but the score didn't really matter to me. I wanted the kill screen. That was very difficult for me to deal with, so much so that I had shelved this game for several months just after. But once I got over it, it only made this final moment right here that much more satisfying. With that, I will sign off as I began. Here's one more look at the kill screen. I hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you again.